Bryce, last night I went to bed, I closed my eyes, I tried to get a good night's sleep, and as soon as I was asleep, I just had the face of a grinning Korean man that had run a train over me and is now starting to fire up the engine in the second game of this best of 5 versus the Chiefs Esports Club. Mimic, I don't know what it is about imports and best of 5s. But he is a man possessed.
And he's not like a little choo-choo train, you know, chugging along. Like, he's a bullet train. Because, like, from level 4, solo kill, and he's going straight for the Nexus. He was soloing out inhibs left, right, and center Nexus turrets. He's all over the shop, and they're just destroying Chief's life right now.
Yeah, I mean, level 4 solo kill onto the rock in the top. And from there, just did not let up. I mean, there were mistakes in that game out of Legacy.
Yep.
The scary thing is that went for 35 minutes. It was pretty one-sided, but Legacy could have played it better. And the Chiefs, bottom lane, got nothing really done in that game.
That's the thing, small CS advantage, but weren't able to roam across the map. The mid priority was there for the Casio on the Legacy side, so going mid wasn't really an option. They couldn't get any turret damage because of the negation from Taric and Ezreal, things like that. They just couldn't play through the composition, the part of their composition that they have the entire split.
And the thing is, if you want to play a protect the AD carry comp, that's fine. But what I would question is banning Gangplank over Camille in that situation. Because for a Gangplank to kill Jinx in that comp, Raze has to have been doing something real weird. However, for Camille to be able to get onto the backline and assassinate, we saw is very, very easy.
Hookshot ulti. And he's into the backline and Jinx is isolated, and then Jinx falls down. Of course, we are into game 2 here. Legacy have opted in to go on the red side. Round number 2. This has been 3 series in a row where they've played the same side. In the first and second game, but this time they find themselves with the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and it's going to be Camille, Skarner, Cassiopeia taken away, and they change it up. They don't ban the Alistar, they ban the Olaf as well as Ryze and Xayah. So they're saying, do you want to take the first pick Olaf, or are you going to stick Olaf? Are you going to stick to the Alistar or the Braum? They went with Braum. I can't speak. You speak for a bit.
Well, they didn't pick Alistar, so Destiny is on the Braum. Fancy that. Fancy that. They don't go for the engage in the bottom lane. Once again, potentially setting themselves up for a similar comp, but I have to think the frustration out of that game means they won't. It's going to be a similar lock-in from Legacy. They're going to take the Taric away from the other side, but I feel like Destiny is a player, Ryoma is a player on the Chiefs lineup that they want agency. They want to be able to do things in this matchup. Ryoma last game just sat under his turret clearing waves, and eventually, when the gold lead was just too much, they lost the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got themselves a Taric as well as Sybil's signature Kha'Zix picked up.
Ska'Zix.
Wow, I'm really struggling. Kha'Zix picked up.
It was Skarner last game, Kha'Zix this game.
Look at that face. It just instills fear.
He's looking pretty cool, calm, collected.
He is.
And that's that face doesn't instill fear.
That's a cheeky grin.
Yeah. He's looking happy about the Braum pick. And it will be the Syndra was banned away first game. And it will just be blind picked here. Ryoma once again.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Ryoma right now cycling through Razor's champion pool. Kalista would be something different. That is a bully lane. However, has been nerfed pretty massively, and really only Razor is the person left that plays it.
But I feel like that would be weird if you got to go for the Kalista anyway. Of course, it's not going to get banned, but surely you first pick something like the Alistar instead of the Braum. Surely you go for the more aggressive option. So he hovered it for a bit. In the end, just picks up the Sejuani. Legacy have this habit, and it kind of bit them in the arse a little bit of blind picking the Kha'Zix in their series yesterday. But, of course, going for the same strategy here again.
All right, so Claire takes the skill matchup. Talia has good push. Syndra has kill potential. Until Talia gets Merc Tread's Banshee's Veil. In the old days, you used to be able to go Blue Book. What's it called?
The blue, Morel, like
Lost Chapters?
Oh.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Lost Chapter, straight into Banshee's Veil. However, now as Talia builds tier, I wonder whether you can actually just go tier Banshees or whether you actually have to finish the Seraphs, because I think that's what the lineup will hinge on.
Yeah, because once you get that shield, of course, it's just so easy to hit the shield when Syndra hits the ulti button. The big outplay button, as we like to call it. But, yeah, potentially. Before that point, of course, Syndra will have definite kill threat.
Yeah.
And this is the same 2v2 we saw Legacy play yesterday, the Talia and the Kha'Zix. If it is successful, it can be incredibly successful, but they are so squishy, no real setup CC on either of them. We talked about it. Has to be the Flick or the Kha'Zix somehow just getting into melee range of the Syndra to be able to really do anything there. So, potentially, Going to be a big point of contention in the mid lane this game.
Yeah, you can see right now they ban away the Scion. Nah is the only last champion really left. That Swiper has shown a propensity to play. Obviously played the Swain last game.
Gets rid of the Fiora.
And I feel like this is just going to be like a Caitlyn pick, or maybe even a Jhin, to be honest.
Oh, no, it will just be the Nah. Because I was thinking you 100% pick the 80 carry, and then you just give Mimic counter pick again. Swiper had a real rough game last game from level 4 onwards. But no, they actually blind pick. They say, Swiper, you can't play anything else. We're going to take the only one available and deny the rest of his pool. Like, Cho'Gath is up as a tank in the top lane. We saw Impact play Singed this morning when all of the tanks were banned away, and Ornn is up as well. So, yeah, there we go.
This is a rough matchup. I know we've seen it being played many a time. However, I feel like the top laners weren't at their peak at that point, and they weren't punishing the mistakes. Mimic in his current form, not the Ornn, but a Scion, which is a bigger lane bully, put Tally in a 100 CS hole and 4 kills yesterday.
Absolutely.
In a Nah versus tank matchup. And I feel like this is a risk for Swiper to go back to an old faithful. Raid's going to pick himself up a Jhin. Jhin Taric versus a Kate Braum. What are your thoughts on this 2v2?
Pretty interesting. Of course, Kate Braum going to have the priority in the matchup, at least early once they get the shove in. It's all about the jungle, I feel for the most part. Taric wants to build the tier. Jhin incredibly squishy, so in the early game, Chiefs will have the advantage. And if Sybil can make a difference, if Babib can make a difference, it could heavily swing in one side's favor. If Caitlyn Braum get ahead, then I feel like the matchup becomes incredibly hard for the Taric and Jhin to get back into it, because the CC can just land it. Caitlyn Braum can actually lock you down for a really long portion of time.
Absolutely.
Like Winter's Bite passive, and then suddenly you get knocked up into a trap, and sure, the Cosmic Radiance can buy some time from the Taric, but if you're just standing there CC'd, they're just wailing away, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that there's even enough burst damage with an Ignite in the lane to actually kill you before the Cosmic Radiance comes down if you do get tagged up, so they're going to have to navigate this one incredibly delicately. Legacy versus Chiefs. Legacy came out swinging in game one and picked up what I think many would say is a surprise first win. They really looked like they were firing, but now the Chiefs still smiling, looking to hit back.
Legacy got themselves a few globals here. Very long range engage. They have the Talia. Have themselves a curtain call on the Jhin. That man on your screen right now, picking that one up for himself. And Chiefs go back to a priority bottom lane that has the pressure in the lane, right? They don't go for the Jinx with a scaling mid laner. They want to get to those team fights and deathball. Gone back to things that have strong laning phases and back to their style.
Absolutely. So here we have laning phase Chiefs with a tank in the top lane versus exactly what Legacy want. They've got themselves another 1-3-1, and we're back onto Summoner's Rift. Game number 2, Chiefs and Legacy. Legacy currently up 1 game, but that was a game to shake the rust off. The series really does start now. And to hear from the man that is still running the gauntlet, top speed, let's throw it over to Laura and Soulstrikes.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with a very familiar face, Soulstrikes. Now, the Chiefs have been able to see you play 10 games over the past 2 days. So how's that affected your game plan and strategies coming into today?
As far as strategy, it changes team by team. Our bans will be different and our picks will be somewhat different, but we pretty much have, we still have some picks left, but yeah, there's a long way to go.
Well, the team has played 2 insane series over the past 2 days. How proud are you of them for being able to take down Order and Avant?
Yeah, very proud. They've been playing the things I've been teaching them and less mistake, and we just executed really well, and we're here in the semi-final against Chief. 1-up.
1-up.
Yep.
Yes, you are, and I'm glad that you're happy with the team. Thank you so much for talking to us, and best of luck.
All right, thank you.
You can tell he's pretty sharp. You would be pretty sharp.
Absolutely.
You brought a rookie lineup into a best-of-5 versus the Chiefs, and they've just flawlessly executed game 1. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And he says they've still, despite having 10 games played already in the Gauntlet, still got tricks up their sleeve. Still have things that they have not shown to us, the general public here.
I mean, right now, Claire is just marching past mid lane and absolutely wailing on Ryoma.
Yeah. Already got the priority. It's exactly what we expect in the matchup. Pot has been burnt. Both of them go for the Dematerializer here, so both gone Airy, both gone Inspiration Secondary. So priority is the name of the game here. And they both opt in. Junglers both started on the bottom-hand side of the map, so they will end up top side. The early stuff that happened top lane was a big factor in Legacy's success. So looking to replicate up there with the Kazakhs.
Absolutely. And the thing about Camille is as soon as she got her foothold in that matchup, she had kill threat as well as turret threat. Now,
he did both at the same time. He took a turret and killed Swiper.
Now it's about whether Mimic can replicate that feat now that, in my opinion, his best champion has been banned away.
In the Camille?
Yeah.
Not the GP?
No, I think he's a better Camille. As actually, Babip, being
quite
invaded
low.
right now, is very low.
Yeah,
and again, he's lost priority in top and mid.
And this is literally replica of game 1. We saw his base get cancelled over that wall pretty early into the game, and Greedy clearing. Used the refillable pod as soon as Sybil was on his screen, but that means he was at about 25
And this time
HP.
there is no teleport.
Yeah.
So they're just going to pull the wave. Can they make it crash? No. They actually ping him back.
Kazakhs, of course, will be a much harder dive onto something like an Onso. When instead of being a mage in the top lane on the Swain, being at about 75% HP, when you have a Doran shield, absolute fridge, as you like to say.
Yep.
So not really any dive threat just at this stage yet, but Bip still on the map right now. Legacy does spot him out.
Yeah, super interesting the fact that Claire didn't go for any cheeky steal there. He is very low. And you can see that Tariq had priority and was rotating over. However, wasn't willing to go for it, potentially because Sybil was on the top side of the map.
Yeah. Also didn't want to lose too much priority in the mid lane. The waves were crashing at that point, so Ryoma had first access. So Claire goes back. He's pretty low on mana right now, but does push the Syndra out of lane a little bit. No pots for either of these mid laners. Chugged through all of them. And this bot lane right now, fairly even across the board. Of course, we saw Chiefs game 1.
That is a big grenade.
Did get blocked out by the Guardian. And Chiefs in the bottom lane game 1. They're able to slowly accrue themselves a little bit of a CS lead in the bottom lane. Couldn't get more than that, but looking to do a similar thing here. And Destiny's gone for Guardian Braum twice in a row. We've seen kind of the tournament meta shift, and just the meta in general, to supports when they can. They go for the Spellbook, because they want that cleanse later in the game. They want to be able to tank the CC, the engage from Gnar, the Jhin ultis, things like that. You have the stun from Sinja, Sejuani. The decoy's opted in. He'll have that cleanse available, but Destiny wants the laning rune.
And at a certain point, you have to say, is that going to cost them team fights? Because if even we saw yesterday, slows and things like that really playing a big part in how supports were dying. They were getting clipped by slows, and then the fed mid laners were just swooping in and like one-hitting them.
And you say swooping in, the biggest one that comes into my mind is when Decoy didn't have the cleanse available and just gets walled by Swiftrod and Anivia.
Yep.
And he goes down immediately. Suddenly team fight absolutely lost.
Whereas if you have the cleanse, you just buffer it, you walk that CC out, and you maybe potentially survive. I mean, Claire was able to do it as well. Just the slow off the Sand Soldier was giving Rogue, I was about to call him Jake, a little bit of trouble, as we actually see Invade coming in from the Sejuani. Is in behind, but was spotted. Now Claire can head up.
Oh, he is rotating up. No. Weaver's Wall is available, but pings go down. They don't have vision, but they know exactly where the Sejuani is. Ward is placed by Mimic, but he's cutting to the rest of his team.
Yeah, certainly is, and now they have to get away. You
And
can
the
see
flick
the
land.
slow will be able to land there onto... No, he actually hasn't thrown it out yet. Still has to burn the flash. That was very interesting that he never threw out the gravel.
Yeah, cusp of the range there. Sybil does show himself on the wave, potentially trying to pull that one away. They don't see where he's basing because he just dashed down the lane, placed a ward in the lane brush. So, Babip loses his flash and just recalls to safety.
However, because he made the first move, now all of a sudden Ryoma has the opportunity to go down bottom lane and potentially look for a counter gank in response. How is this one going to play out?
They don't have a ward in this bush right now, so they do not know he's here just yet. Decoy, if he hugs that wall, he will be in stun range.
Here we go, Ryoma goes in. He's going to be able to pick it up. Raid has to flash immediately. Good respect shown.
Does burn the summoner. Keeps all of his HP, so Ryoma. Nice little trade, kind of trading across the board. Babip loses his top side to Claire's roam. He matches down bot. Raid loses his. So suddenly advantages on either side of the map right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And however, when you are playing weak side like Raid and Decoy are, potentially the flash can mean a little bit more than what the jungler is. Now Babip can just try and full clear, keep himself hidden, stay off vision. However, if you are the Jhin, you're going to be a sitting duck for these engages.
And all of a sudden, you talk about weak side, strong side, Chiefs, bottom lane right now. Braum, one of the best supports that are doing the Scuttle Crab, probably behind Tom Kench because of the percent damage, so Chiefs use their priority. They've already got themselves a little bit of CS lead. They walk up, place some vision, get the Scuttle Crab to have that unclearable vision as well, so especially on a patch like this, means a lot more.
In saying that, one thing that we have generally complimented Babip on is his clear. He is down big time in CS. He's down 5 camps, and he has none available.
Oh, stun. Barely does miss.
Look at the dancing shoes out of Claire.
There we go. But that potentially coming out of the early game invade because Babip got pushed out of his topside jungle and didn't recall and goes all the way back bot, clears a single camp and then recalls after that. Suddenly Sybil has priority on the map. Camp's available and he has options. Now finds himself in about a 4 camp lead.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Ryoma one more time heading down this bottom lane. Not yet level 6 reached by either bot lanes. And you would say that's a little bit rougher if you are going to be a Legacy. Decoy has not left. He is still wailing on them, and they have split. So now the teleport comes in. Weaver Wall is going to be here. We've seen this once before this weekend. Flick back. Ornhorn is called in, and a huge stun out of Swiper. And all of a sudden, Mimic will fall down. First blood picked up for the Chiefs. Claire stepped onto a trap. Big three-man stun there. Means that a crit shot coming across will potentially fight that one out. You can see still Claire looking to march forward. Not going to be able to land, and still it is Kha'Zix not yet getting to the fight. Flashes in, and he's just going to get blown up. No one from the Chiefs is dead, and they got the slow from the red buff. Claire now may have to burn his flash to get out of this one. Flick is going to be there again. Jin ulti as well. Swiper will fall down, and they're trying to take it up. That's 2 people dead. Deadly Flourish will pick up a 3rd, and Legacy has turned this around.
And a huge turnaround. Raid was actually staying in lane, desperately trying to get mana. He wanted that back. Didn't have it enough to cast the ultimate, but a 4v5 dive for Chiefs ends up in multiple kills going over to Legacy.
Mimic was so hyped to get out of base that he was running towards mid lane, and he realized he hadn't bought items, so then he recalled at his tier 2 and had to go back. This is what Gauntlet games do to you, though.
It becomes messy. It becomes scrappy. You're too hyped. You're too in the moment, not thinking about actually buying those stupid items that make you strong.
Oh, stun nearly lands there. Crit shot is there, and in comes Sybil. He wants the assassination. That's going to be the taste, the fear. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Walks away.
Lucky Sybil. Sybil is absolutely popping off.
Yeah, the bottom lane out of the Chiefs, they don't actually base, sitting on about 2 HP. Sybil came out of base in a 4v5. Dashed in, got a bunch of CC to the face, has to go back. He falls down, but the entire time, Chiefs just sticking around. And we're actually going to see this again.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's take it through it.
Raid just gets the hell out of dodge. He runs all the way and they realize they've committed too far into the AD carry. They throw an ulti, a decoy, but it is just not enough. Swiper gets a nice knock-up onto 3 members, but he's tanking the turret split from his team. So despite the advantage initially going over to Chiefs, they are just waiting, buying time for Sybil to get here as the fight does just continue. Ultis, nice flick, flashed away from Destiny there to get himself to safety, but Raid walks all the way around. He actually was level 5, wasn't waiting on mana, was waiting on the skill of the ultimate. So he goes back to lane, farming the CS, while Decoy and Claire are just shepherding the Chiefs around, all of the members standing there. As soon as that curtain call opens up, Chiefs realize it's the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see they were debating who was going to tank it. And the fact that when you die, you give it Deadly Flourish, actually picked themselves up another kill. Such a cool interaction.
All of a sudden, Legacy Game 2 find themselves with a slight gold lead, but still a lead nonetheless. Sybil
goes
no mana,
in,
very
gets
low.
Chunked out. In goes Destiny. Will be able to tag him up. Gets
one auto.
The ulti out as well. However, the flash not going to be there. And now they're onto Decoy. Ultimate not available from Babip.
That was the biggest Braum W I've ever seen. Of course, it places you closer to the enemy. So Destiny closed the gap. Q ulti lands. CC's up the Kha'Zix. All of a sudden had a big jungle lead. Is being caught back up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see right now, red buff being transferred over. That's a big deal because that's going to be a Caitlyn with red continually chipping underneath your turret. Does, however, make harass annoying because you can only get like one auto attack before the turret starts.
You kind of have to all in. You're like, do I want to hit the champion and only hit the champion because I can't stay in turret range, or am I just going to actually not hit them at all and just whack away at the turret? But the big good news story.
Did you see that? Destiny just failed your ward.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, come on.
Got to go back, watch the video.
Did he get the second one? There's two rubbles there.
I think that
was that left over from last?
Yeah,
oh, Destiny. Come on, man.
Of course, if you haven't seen it, which many people haven't because I think it is criminally underrated.
Thanks, man.
Bryce's pinned tweet is a great warding tutorial.
At Adrian Law, by the way. But we are back into the game, of course, and I was going to say, good news story for Chiefs. Swiper is faring much better in this matchup versus Mimic. We're now 11 minutes in. Mimic had himself a solo kill at this point, mega priority in the lane, and a CS lead. But because they've TP'd all around the map, Swiper is held up quite nicely, actually finds himself with an experience lead level up over Mimic.
Yeah, and Mimic wasn't able to use his teleport to get back into lane early. One of the things that Ornn does very well, especially with the minion dematerializer, as well as the Biscuit build we've seen, is stay healthy and just win the war of attrition. Mimic actually was a player that taught us that, and I feel like no early teleport, because he had to save it for the bottom lane play, was a big thing for Swiper.
Absolutely here. Claire, once again on the Talia, has priority in this mid lane matchup, constantly floating up to top side, but Chiefs have the river control right now.
He bought a stopwatch.
Oh.
That's 600 gold to avoid a death. Potentially could come in handy, potentially couldn't, but I like the idea out of Claire.
Yeah. Yeah, gone for the early tier, of course.
They actually
Destiny.
waited for Destiny here. Deadly Flourish going to hit. He does get the door up. Will be able to get over, but that's a nice chunk.
Yeah, they do, and they will clear out the vision as well. So, with Barbip on the bottom-hand side of the map, Destiny felt comfortable walking into the jungle. Legacy have a lot of vision bot side. Now matched on towards the top. CS lead in the bottom lane, slight, but it does mean that Raze going for the same build as he did last game, of course, on the Caitlyn. 3 kills to his name right now. Static Shift completed, working on his Infinity Edge. Once he hits that 2-3 item spike, will be pretty strong.
Yeah, absolutely. However, this is a matchup that Raid and Decoy has played multiple times this weekend. Order forced them into it.
And they've done a very good job at holding. Neither of these champions have died right now, just yet in this matchup.
They got 5-man dove as well.
They did, absolutely. And you saw there, using the Jin W to just check the bush. They know Sybil is somewhere on the bottom-hand side of the map. Barbip, because Sybil was on top side and they could not spot the Sejuani. So they're playing it very respectfully, just playing back under the turret. The turret isn't necessarily very low. So Raze and Destiny find themselves where they haven't actually killed their lane opponent. There's a lot of kills from these team plays, but no real turret damage. So the 2v2 is just pretty stable across the board.
And look at the split of the map. 3 pink wards on the bottom side of the river. And then you can see all the Scuttle Crab, all the wards placed topside for Legacy. And Raid and Decoy are just catching waves.
Sybil snuck in there.
Actually going to be in a little bit of trouble. However, they didn't commit on the play.
Does he actually commit to clearing out the pink ward there? Barbip was looking for an ulti over the wall. Can get over 2 there. Could have changed that with the stun. Would have taken him down, so he does back away. Ryoma doing his best to hold the mid lane, but Barbip has spent so much time on the bottom side of the map right now.
They're looking for another pick and look for the pick. Sunglasses come down, nice stun. However, we already mentioned the layering of CC. Flashes over the top, looking to nail him. Will be able to do so, and now this might be 2 members falling down. Taric is certainly dead. Teleport coming in as well.
Cancelled by Swiper.
Yep.
Big point. You saw the back pings out of Mimic on the side of Legacy. He was like, I'm not TPing. I'm exhausted on the Gnar. We already lose Decoy. What a time with the turret. Just makes it so important that Swiper did actually cancel that TP. All of a sudden, potential first brick would be going over to the top laner of Legacy, but maybe Chiefs going to match on the bottom.
And this time around, the Chiefs Esports Club is doing a much better job at holding in the 1v1 top lane. Meanwhile, the bottom lane is certainly falling down.
Oh, that's a TP.
That's a huge TP coming in. They
flank.
actually go for the huge flank. Sybil is on the wrong side of the wall. He jumped the wrong way. However, goes over the wall now looking for Raze. Will be able to pick him up. No.
Nice heal.
Heal is going to be there, and Sybil falls down. Destiny looks to be joining him. Hop over the wall out of Mimic. Will be able to pick that up. It is a 1-for-1 trade.
But that's a big expenditure just for that 1 kill there. Sybil falls down. Swipe is going to have time solo topside flick.
Actually not able to pick up Raze. Flash forward as well. Slow will be there, and now the outplay button is hit. Not going to be able to be picked up because of the stopwatch, but Swiper is getting so much time with that top lane turret.
And there you go. That's the 600 gold you were talking about. Buys him that 1 life. So looking to match on the bottom-hand side right now. The bottom lane of Legacy will be the ones to pick up first brick. Their own turret is incredibly low, but because they pull the trigger on that TP, they get the tempo back bottom-hand side of the map. Raze played that fight pretty damn well. Lived on a sliver of HP multiple times to get himself out of that one. Working on his Infinity Edge, not just quite there. And of course, you look at a Jin and a Taric whacking away at a turret versus an Ornn. Of course, they do much more damage. Swiper unable to get the turret on the top side.
So that one, that's not his fault, as we see the play one more time.
And because of the wall out of Clay, I mean, Sybil has to burn his dash to get over the terrain there. So he has to flash back onto Raze. And now if he had that extra leap, then could have potentially picked up the kill. Nice curtain call comes out. Mimic not mega just yet, but as soon as he dashes over the wall, there's no real threat onto the other 3 members. And this was incredibly close. Claire gets in behind the members of the Chiefs. Of course, the Q from Talia can just be body block, so it hits Ryoma and Barbip. And Clay burns his flash to try and get the play, but unfortunately for him, cannot connect with Raze.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think that maybe, just maybe, if he went for the Unraveled Earth, as opposed to going for the flick, would have been able to pick that one up. As you see, Clay actually secures himself.
Yeah.
Barbip thought that Ryoma was going to be able to pick that up. Didn't happen.
Just out of range there. And the entire time that happened, Legacy trading topside. They get Rift Herald, so they get their blue buff and they get topside. But Chiefs are going heavy bot.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see already they've traded up. They took 2 turrets, 4-1 right now. However, recall is being channeled out of Mimic. And Jin is one of the better wave clearing 80 carries for mid lane. Obviously, can put down 2 of the traps as well as a Deadly Flourish. Generally takes care of the whole wave. Meanwhile, Sybil is trying to steal away a blue buff.
Oh,
and
does he
could
get this one?
potentially
He
grab
does.
it. Does.
Ulti misses.
Ulti misses. Babip and Ryoma have been shut out of this series so far by Claire and Sybil.
Absolutely. And talking about Jin clearing waves, the grenade is just so satisfying. You know, he doesn't clear waves well, he clears waves so satisfyingly. Sybil looking for more.
Yeah,
Raze is actually
maybe
forward.
able to get onto Raze, has no summoner spells. However, Ornhorn comes in, and that is going to be the jump interrupt there. Very
Claire's
nicely
behind.
done. Claire has been caught out, and now he will look to fall down. Curtain call will be raised, and that is 2 free kills picked up by the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs have all 5 members in the mid lane right now, but Bip is looking to flank around the back, but he is spotted out by Vision. No Ornhorn, no Sejuani ulti. Syndra barely has hers available right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see they are looking for something here. At least mid lane turret will go down. You got to think that Sybil has just gone a bit too over-aggressive in the last 5 minutes, and it is starting to cost his team massively.
I feel like this either happens on his cards. He's very feast or famine. You saw her against Order in the regular split. Absolutely popping off, gets in the back lines, just sniping out Swiffer left, right, and center. Suddenly here, when he's a bit further behind, looking to assassinate the 80 carry of Chiefs, but unfortunately, CC lands, he goes down almost immediately, baits his team into a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Mimic is up 20 CS, is 1-1-0, but certainly not the game 1 performance we've seen. Rift Herald is just going to be used to pick up a response in the mid lane, potentially. Although,
is that enough?
Is that enough?
It is. Oh, no, okay. Not going to fall down, so they don't even get the slap because Raze takes aggro, turns that one around. Rift Herald does not hit the turret there, so double buffs on the Caitlyn. Approaching 2 items right now. And we're also approaching 20 minutes, 50 seconds until Baron spawns. No real big lead between these 2 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing in between them right now. Gold more evenly distributed for Legacy, whereas a large chunk of it is just sitting on Raze right now. But if there is a player in the OPL that you would have it on, honestly, couldn't think of a better guy apart from maybe Chippies.
It's pretty damn reliable. Picks himself up the Ninja Tabby, so going for the safe option, of course, against something like the Gnar against the Kha'Zix that do want to be diving into the backline. Caitlyn doesn't want to be dying out very quickly. Raid, once again, goes for the very early Quicksilver Sash. I feel like he does this more than any other 80 carry. He's very safe with that purchase, and
if your job's to play weak side, you need to be able to stay alive.
Yep, willing to buy it almost every single game before he's completed his first 2 items. Of course, 10 seconds on the Baron, and Chiefs have already secured themselves control of the area.
Oh, Simple going to face check again. Will nearly fall down. Very surprised to see no follow-up there.
Of course, Syndra on the top side. Talked about the 1-3-1 at a Legacy, and just another one of those death ball compositions out of the Chiefs. Syndra, one of the worst mid laners at going to catch a side lane.
Yep.
No mobility, doesn't want to stick around there for too long, so you see him walk over to the wave and then immediately walk back to his team. But this time, Mimic has rotated up. Swiper has TP.
Yeah, he's saying now challenge for the vision. And Raze is just marching forward, put some shots into Decoy. However, now may be caught out.
Decoy.
Actually, his Decoy goes in, will get blown up.
Big
Huge flick onto 3 members. Sybil in the back line. Mimic cannot go Mega and actually has to hop away. In goes the Ornhorn. Destiny, one more shot. And Ryoma is just a sitting duck on the back line right now. Getting pummeled. Mimic is Mega, but no flash available means he can't get in. And Raze is just trying to run them down.
Big
Huge crit out of Raze. Will secure them the team fight. With 3 members dead, they will march towards Baron.
And all of a sudden in this composition, Decoy on the Taric of all things. The burden rests on his shoulders to engage the team fight there. Mimic was mini, was not Mega. They didn't have that ultimate available.
Raze took a couple of shots there. That is a big deal. Swiper, full HP, but with the carries low, can one more time Mimic wreak havoc here. Trap line is going out, and it looks like Mimic is just going to give it up. Potentially a cheeky boomerang for the steal. No, he marches in. He wants it. Will get stunned up. However, Ryoma very low, has to pop the shield, and they might just play for the fight. Raze turns around, starts putting bullets into Mimic. Will be able to pick him up. Very nice 90 caliber net, and now is marching forward. This is an 8-kill Caitlyn with Baron buff.
And all of a sudden, Raze cleaned up just about every kill in that fight there. They take a game that was within 1,000 gold, burst it open. 5,000 gold lead for the Chiefs right now, and the Baron buff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Raze, 8-1-3, single-handedly carried this team.
And that's it. Mimic is mini, and Decoy, after Raze uses the net, he immediately goes for the play. But there's just so many members of Chiefs to body block for the 80 carry. Mimic can't get access to the backline, has to flash away from Swiper's Ornhorn. They do pick up a nice trade kill there, but as soon as Raze is just untouchable in the backline, he can chase down the members. Raid gets cleaned up. Claire looks for something, but the biggest crit, like 500 damage, takes him from half HP to near death. And Clay just goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see now sitting on 3 items with the Ninja Tabby is not going to be threatened by the Kazakhs at all. They march straight down mid lane and looking to pick up turrets. You can see that there is just not the wave clear here. Talia can't get access. He's instead going for a flank. Can he land the flick? No, he cannot. And that will be mid lane turret falling down.
And this composition is just so hard to play from behind for Legacy. They don't really have a sturdy front line. Just the Taric and the Nas. Sybil 1-5 on the Kazakhs. Polarizing performance to game 1 here, Chiefs. Still looking to siege the base. Stun does land QSS.
Burnt, and they actually throw an ultimate towards Mimic. He is about to go Mega, trying to keep him out. If there is a time to look for a fight, it is as they're funneling into the base. However, Claire gets chunked out now. Stun will land onto Decoy as well. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to contest.
The chunks are badly timed for Legacy. As soon as Mimic popped that Mega Gnar, unfortunately they do have to back away, so potentially looking for some damage.
He wanted
Root
something
lands.
there. Root does land. He goes
Now
back
he's
into Mini. See the Chiefs grabbing the bottom lane wave, as well as the blue buff.
I'm thankful to be able to pick one up. Actually, Sybil's looking for the contest. Does not get it. 6 HP, unfortunately for him, but that is the dash burn. So he's going to have to wait about 10 seconds for that cooldown to come back up. And in that time, Chiefs are storming towards bot side.
They certainly are, and that's going to be an exhausted
Big chunk.
Mini Gnar. Chunk going out onto Raid again. Does he just open up with a curtain call? When do you decide you have to fight? You can see Mimic building the Gnar bar, and he has backed away. Looking for a base here is Raid.
Yeah, Rayama is about 1/2 HP right now. Raze completely full, sitting on 3 items, and the Ninja Tabby is just basically frontlining once again in this composition. Sybil, big chunk of damage to the face.
Yeah, and I feel like they have to wait on the flash. It looks like they cannot get it without the Gnar flash, and that flick misses. One more time, another turret goes down. This is now going to be a 6,000 gold lead, and the Chiefs behind Raze slowly but surely are just destroying the structures of Legacy.
And when do Legacy go? Mimic just popped Mini.
Actually, they don't get to choose when they go, because in goes the Chiefs, and an immediate double kill. Godlike Raze. Mimic is Mini. However, with 2 inhibitors down, Chiefs looking to close out this game. Talia Wall trying to push them away. Will not do it. They throw the ultimate at Mimic one more time, and they're just corralling them away. Raze is marching forward, but the Chiefs, the rest of the members are on the Nexus turrets, and it only took 24 minutes, but when they get a gold lead, the Chiefs just turn it on. If they prioritize the Nexus right now, they will win the game. Instead, they're going for the style points, and it might cost them. However, now they refocus. The Nexus will fall, and the Chiefs will bring us to 1-1.
And a much more Chiefs-like composition. Swiper in the top lane does not fall disastrously behind Mimic. All of a sudden, they have the engage tools. Barbip on the Sejuani. They have the Braum in the bot lane. Raze, once again. Game 1, they lost, but he played a very mean Jinx. He was the only thing left standing for Chiefs. But all of a sudden, game 2 on the Caitlyn is just too much for Legacy to handle.
Yeah, when all else fails, put Swiper on a tank and Raze on a late game damage dealing 80 carry. And just go from there. Honestly, Babip and Ryoma still had a rough early game, but the 2 ends of the map played much better.
Yeah, you have to talk about the jungler of Legacy once again, as well in Sybil. Game 1, very good. Just demolishing the 2v2 in the mid lane. That game finished like 1-5. You mentioned had a decent early game in the 2v2, but once he fell behind, was just struggling to do anything. And that's what we saw from the Kazakhs yesterday. Kind of like once he falls behind on that pick, as soon as you don't really have anyone to assassinate, once you can't get onto the Caitlyn because she's got 72 kills and just one-shots you in the face, it's really hard to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a comp that needed flash on Mimic when he was Mega Gnar and when he had a flame. And unfortunately, when you add so many variables, as you start to fall behind, those options become very limited.
And talk about limiting the options. Chiefs played very well around the Mega Gnar. They, time and time again, picked their opportunities when he was Mini, when he was exhausted, things like that. They played very respectfully around when Mimic was Mega and he had the flash available. And it was just like nice to see from the Chiefs.
And you know what doesn't need many options? Ornn's ultimate.
Yeah.
Just
non-committal, big horn,
sound the horn.
And then suddenly there's a big ram.
It just looks very good when it works out, and it did work out this game. To get their thoughts on it, however, let's throw it to the analyst hangout.
Thank you very much, guys. Chiefs picking up game number 2 and able to turn this series back around. Are we going to call it game 5 already?
I'm saying it's looking pretty likely at the moment. Yeah,
to be honest, like I think that Chiefs coming, I guess, off the back of that first game, which was pretty rough, just shows they aren't I guess, tilters in a way.
Yeah,
like
we were interested to see how they would react coming off a loss.
Yeah, and I think
guess
they came off the back of that loss very well and come back strong. I think Rays, like you were saying, played consistently well. Game 1, Game 2 now.
He's looking like a scary prospect in this Gauntlet. Like, I think Rays is looking like a genuine win condition for, I guess, this match. And if they do go through to Direwolves, it's early days to be saying that, but like a genuine threat.
Well, Race was definitely the hero Chiefs needed in that game. But I want to also take a look at Legacy. Because, Juice, when we were watching the game, you called Sybil a Gauntlet symbol because you don't know which version of him you're going to get.
Yeah, like, so I said this yesterday and I congratulated him on, like, a real big performance and stepping up when they were 0-2. And he's kind of, like, done that Sybil-esque kind of, like you said upstairs, 100 or 0. Like, he's either going to win or play a part in you winning, a big part, or play a really big part in you losing that game. And I think that game, like, if he just reacted to what Chiefs wanted to do, if he didn't do anything on the map but follow Bubip and try and match him, then the game could have been different because Legacy were looking good at certain times.
Yeah, I feel like Sybil has a lot of opportunity. He gives his team a lot of opportunities, and he tries to capitalize sometimes too much. That's why I call him like 100-0 play. When he's in the zone, when he really capitalizes on those plays, or how he actually envisions them and they work out well for him, he can really pop off like he's done in the past in the OPL. But sometimes, like, it's kind of hard to say, but sometimes Sybil can actually be a lose condition in a way. You know, and what I mean, like, people call players win condition. He's our win condition. We've got to play around him. But Sybil, for the enemy, if Sybil's having a rough game, he's genuinely a lose condition. So I feel as though I'm hoping Sybil can kind of turn it around, potentially get him off something on more of a less risky pick. You know, he's been on the Kazakhs now, which it's a 100-0 champion. But yeah, maybe potentially get him on something like a Sidwani or a Zach or back to that Skarner that he did in Game 1.
He is known for his Zach. He was like an avid Zach player.
And it has been banned against him.
Oh, it has,
this weekend.
Yeah, it has, yeah. So that's an option for them. They've got options. It's not like a scarce thing where it's like, damn, what do we do? There's options everywhere for both sides.
Well, it seemed watching that game that Legacy felt as though they needed to act before Caitlyn got too out of control. And Juves, you were saying it looked like they were a bit desperate.
Yeah, so when you play the game, you obviously don't know the gold lead. This engage here, for me, looks like, guys, we're versing Caitlyn Braum. What do we do? Yeah, we need to fight real soon. And they just forced something that wasn't good at all. So, like, he's popping Meganar with 100 health, which screams to me that this fight was wrong in the first place. And to top, like, the icing on the cake for this fight for me was, like, Tariq flash engaging. If you ever see a Tariq starting a fight with flash stun, flash dazzle, just, like, pack it up and go
in
next.
the middle of the lane.
Just
if,
go.
If it's in the middle of the lane, you know something's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah,
if Tariq's flashing on you in the middle of the lane, something's gone terribly wrong.
It's either the enemy team's inting, like actually running down mid as an AD carry, or you're feeling some form of pressure that you just need to, like, make a play happen. But unfortunately for Legacy, it wasn't the right play.
It was actually pretty funny actually how Chiefs set up that. So you actually see three of the players were sitting in the side brush, and Caitlyn's like that bait. Raze was just sitting in the middle of the lane, like, come at me, like, we want to fight here, right? I think Chiefs actually set up that really well, and Legacy took the bait, and, like, they obviously were feeling that Legacy were, I guess, they were maybe really wanted to take a fight. Maybe they realized, okay, if we stick Raze out in the middle of the lane, are they going to come and engage? And they did, and I feel like Chiefs capitalized on it really well.
So what went wrong for Legacy that game? What was their game plan, and how did Chiefs manage to pull that off so well?
Like, to back up what Sharp said, like, I don't think much went wrong from Legacy, aside from, like, obviously Sybil didn't have a desirable game, but I think it's like, unfair to say that, like, damn, this engage was really bad from Legacy, because A, it was, but B, like, Chiefs set that up. It wasn't like a random, like, Chiefs collapsing. Chiefs were waiting in that brush. Like, they obviously said, like, okay, they're going to take this bait. Like, just stand in front of him. It was like Raze was like a deer, and they're like the tigers and the giz was like there ready to pounce, but it's like, hang on, like, the whole herd's there kind of thing, and they just got trampled. But like I want to give Chiefs credit for that. Like, I want to say that they set that up, and it wasn't like just a genuine bad play, but they made that play happen.
But for me, in terms of Legacy's actual game plan, you could kind of tell from draft they were very early to mid centric. You know, that the Kazakhs and the Talia, they had the Jin, and they were really going for that early to mid, I guess, aggressive skirmishing, diving. But Chiefs didn't really give them them an option really, and I feel like they kind of overreached, and Chiefs just were able to play through ball, get those kills on Caitlin, and just play a great, I guess, standard front to back team fight comp.
Yeah, well, now the series is tied up 1-1. But before we do get to game number 3, we asked you guys to send us in some messages of what you would like to see buffed or nerfed in League of Legends. And we have one in from Daniel right now, who would like to buff the kill assist gold as well as shut down. It could make a game much more exciting for casual and pro play. Sure, there will be more stomps, but it will make people slightly more aggressive and people can show their true skill.
I'm on the fence about that one because it will either like make games like 20-minute games, or it will make people play like way safer, like even safer, because like you genuinely don't want to give away like that first blood, so people just won't trade.
Yeah, I feel like at the moment, like Riot did a really good job of like, I guess Rift Tower was probably one of the first things they introduced to kind of speed up the pace of the games to break towers, and I feel like if they did that, it's going to kind of break the game in the sense that no one's going to really pick like scaling in a way. It's just going to be like early skirmishes. Yeah. And I feel like that would make the game really awkward because at the moment, things like AD assassins and like assassins in general aren't really played. And it's kind of, it would be like pushing assassin gameplay when assassins aren't actually that strong. So it'd be like this weird interaction.
You'd also just probably install like first pick Pantheon Ignite top lane every game.
Depending on how much they buffed the gold.
Literally just Ignite got buffed. Like literally Pantheon Ignite top, just throw spears, tower dive level 2, go next. Like open. Literally.
Well, thank you for sending in your message, Daniel, and congratulations from your mystery skin. Please remember to keep sending in what you would like to see buffed or nerfed into us to us on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag IMOPL. But Sharp, did you ever play League of Legends when you were in high school? I asked Juves this yesterday, so it feels right to ask you.
Yeah, I played League of Legends since season 1 actually, and I was kind of like a bit of a casual player. Fun fact, I actually played bots till level 30. I was too scared to play PvP against other players.
I'd never play against human beings.
I'd never played any other game, and in terms of MOBAs, and I said, nah, I'm not gonna risk it. I want to keep my win-loss ratio. Purely played bots till level 30, and I grinded it out.
Screenshot show the boys 100% win rate. You don't have to tell them it's bots. You don't have to.
Yeah,
it's our little secret.
Well, the good news is that the High School LOL Championships is coming. If you're a student living in Australia or New Zealand, you are invited to play in regional tournaments with the top 2 teams battling it out to be crowned the Oceanic High School Champion. Players must be from the same school and have permission from the school to enter, but for more information, make sure you head to leaguehighschool.com/esports. We're going to head to a quick break, but when we get back, we're going to have game number 3 between the Chiefs and Legacy.
Once before this weekend, flick back, Ornhorn is called in and a huge stun out of Swiper, and all of a sudden Mimic will fall down. First blood picked up for the Chiefs. Flick is going to be there again. Jin ulti as well. Swiper will fall down. And they're trying to take it up. That's 2 people dead. Deadly Flourish will pick up a 3rd. And Legacy has turned this around. To Raze has no summoner spells. However, Ornhorn comes in. And that is going to be the jump interrupt there. Very nicely done. Claire has been caught out. And now he will look to fall down. Caught out. Actually, his decoy goes in. Will get blown up. Huge flick onto 3 members. Sybil in the back line. Mimic cannot go Mega and actually has to hop away. In goes the Ornhorn. Destiny, one more shot. And Ryoma is just a sitting duck on the back line right now. Getting pummeled. Mimic is Mega, but no flash available means he can't get in. And Raze is just trying to run them down. Huge crit out of Raze. And it only took 24 minutes, but when they get a gold lead, the Chiefs just turn it on. If they prioritize the Nexus right now, they will win the game. Instead, they're going for the style points, and it might cost them. However, now they refocus. The Nexus will fall, and the Chiefs will bring us to 1-1. G'day, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for the OPL Gauntlet.